All right, so for lesson 3, we're going to learn about, last time we learned about different kinds of angles. Now we're going to learn about our different kinds of lines. Okay, so your lines are up here on your first page. And so we talked about that there's lines, segments, and rays. And then when two lines come together, we have perpendicular, parallel, and intersecting. And then lines of symmetry we'll talk about later. But we're just going to talk about how lines work together in this lesson. Okay, so if you look first, we have perpendicular lines right here. So perpendicular lines intersect to form a right angle. Intersect just means that they cross, okay? So I want you to just draw a little line. They cross. So just like an intersection that you drive through or you ride your bike through, and intersecting lines, meaning that they cross, okay? So when they cross to form right angles, like this one, you can see all of these are right angles. They are perpendicular, okay? So the only time they're perpendicular is if the angles that they form are right. So if you look at this one, they're intersecting, and they all are right angles, so we're going to say true. Now these ones, you can see how they're intersecting, but they do not make right angles. It kind of looks more like an X. So that is false. They are not perpendicular lines. These lines are parallel. They will never intersect. So if we continued these lines forever, they will never, ever, ever touch each other. And the way we know that they're parallel is if, I also, to remember parallel, do you see how the L's in parallel are, they're parallel lines, okay? And if you take a look right here, they don't get closer or further apart. That's how we know. So if they get closer to each other or at some point they get further apart, that tells us that they might intersect, okay? So these ones, you can tell it's the same distance the whole way. So that's going to be true. They are parallel. These ones, you can tell if you look up here, you can use your finger, you can use your eyes, but you can tell that the distance here is shorter than the distance over here. So that would be false. These are not parallel. Because if you kept extending it, eventually they probably would intersect. They would intersect, okay? And these are intersecting lines. Intersecting lines, they cross at more or less than 90 degrees. So if you look here, these are intersecting. They cross each other, and they make, I have a video that says that intersecting lines make V's. See the V's that they make, but they're not 90 degrees. So that is true. These are intersecting. These ones, you can see your 90 degrees, right? All the way around. So that is false. They're not intersecting lines, okay? All right, so let's look over here. So we wanted you to be able to connect this to real life. So here we have a map. So it says name 3 streets that run perpendicular to B Street. So let's find B Street. It's right here. And remember, perpendicular means that they make that 90-degree cross. So it crosses at 90 degrees perpendicular. It would be just this one, actually, right? Perpendicular. It should say, I think this is supposed to be parallel. So for now, let's just do which one is perpendicular, which is Sycamore Lane. So cross out the 3. Let's make it say Sycamore Lane, okay? It runs perpendicular to B Street, okay? Name 3 streets that run parallel to First Street. So here's First Street, okay? They have to be the same distance apart, right? Never crossing. So look, here's Second Street. It's parallel, so let's write Second Street. And you can even do this, second. You can abbreviate it. You don't have to write the word. Okay, another one, if we come down, let's follow this line. That becomes C Street, so that works. That is definitely parallel. And then, let's see, do we have another one? Oh, look at A. If A was to extend, it would be parallel. So let's write A Street. Okay, which street runs parallel, so that means they're the same distance apart the whole way, to Ocean View Drive. So here's Ocean View Drive, okay. Let's see, it would have to be Parkside because it's the only one that is that same part, but it doesn't get closer or further apart. So it is Parkside. Make sure all your streets have a capital letter because they are names. So the names of streets should be capital letters. They're proper nouns, okay? What is the only street on this map that does not run parallel or perpendicular to any other street? So let's see, does M run parallel to anything? No, it does not. There's no parallel lines for M. And it does intersect with C Street, but it's not a 90-degree, right? So it is M Street. So as I'm talking, you don't want to just be copying my answers. You want to think about what I'm saying so that when you move on, you understand these words and are able to use them to do similar activities. Okay, Patterson Avenue runs parallel to Sycamore Lane. Add Patterson Avenue to the map. So Patterson Avenue, so let's find Sycamore Lane. Sycamore is right here, and it runs parallel. So it's going to be a straight line. Just do your best, okay? And now let's go ahead and add it. So there is Patterson, okay? All right, there we go. Now it says underline any letters that have parallel line segments. So let's underline them. So A does not, B does not because of the curvy thing. C, D, oh, E has some parallel lines, so let's underline it. F does with these two. G does not. Oh, H does right here, right? These two little, so those are parallel. They're the same distance apart and they never touch. M has parallel lines. Let's underline that. N does. I'm looking P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X. Oh, V, no. U kind of does, but the curvy, we're going to take that out. V, X, Y. Oh, Z does. So let's do Z. Okay, we did that. So I'm going to put a check mark. Circle any letters that have perpendicular line segments. They have to cross at 90 degrees, right? So let's see. B does if you include the curve. So let's go ahead and circle B. D does. E does, so we'll circle E. Lots of 90 degrees there for perpendicular. F has perpendicular. G does right here in this corner, so we'll do that even though it has the curve. H does. K, 90 degrees. L, we can circle L. Perpendicular, P does, right here. Q, R does. S, T does, right? V, U. Oh, look at T. That should not be there, should it? Oh my goodness. V, X, Y, no Z. And then write any letters that have perpendicular and parallel. So which ones are circled and underlined? That would be E, F, H. Ooh, an announcement.
Teachers, if you're one of...
So we've got E, F, H. Which ones have circles and underlines? And that's it. So E, F, and H. All right, guys. So that's how you identify if it's parallel, perpendicular, or intersecting.